Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Monday Night Football in Week 8 on DraftKings. And for the showdown tonight, we've got the Bengals going up against the Cleveland Browns. Two teams that can't stop anybody else's running games. And we have two very good running backs. Unfortunately, when I turned this into the art department to get the thumbnail made, Ja'Marr Chase wasn't hurt yet. So at least he's going to avoid the injured list. Maybe he'll be back before the 4 weeks, because if they had put him on IR, as we originally heard that it was going to be a 4 to 6 week injury, hopefully, Ja'Marr, get well soon. Hopefully you're back before the 4 weeks are over. Get well. We need to see all the greatness from him moving forward. But there's still a lot of great plays on this showdown slate. The Bengals are favored by 3. The total is 45.5. We're going to take a look at building a pick'em on underdog, the prime captains that we can use for this slate, as well as talk about some of the correlations that I suggest that you use, and then take a look over at the Fantasy Labs lineup builder to see how we're going to plug those things in there. So whether you are a hand builder or whether you're going to use the lineup builder, let's talk about this slate. Let's go.
He's a legend.
No matter how you did on the Week 8 slate, I am going to talk about everything that I did and show you my cash game lineup, my millionaire maker lineups, all 150 of them. We'll talk about high stakes and how that went in the recap video that comes out every single Monday over on the Al Smizzle Fantasy Football channel, smizzle.tv/ff if you were looking for that, or just put it right up here in the search bar. Definitely go over there and subscribe to that channel, because I put out 5 videos a week there, and I don't want you to miss any of them, as well as most of my fantasy football off-season stuff is there as well. So go subscribe to the Al Smizzle Fantasy Football channel. Let's do a little pick'em. If you do not already have an account over on Underdog Fantasy, you can get up to a $100 deposit bonus on your first deposit to the site. I highly recommend you do it. It is free money that you can utilize over there. Let's go higher on 5.5 receptions for T. Higgins. Let's go higher on Amari Cooper. That's it. That's all I want. That's all I want. $50 to win 150. Boom. Confirm. It's as easy as that. And hopefully we can take home a payday on Monday night. A little bit of extra pick'em for you. So let's go over to the main slate. Let's take a look at the captains. Ja'Marr Chase is out. Single tier for me. One of my favorite players in the NFL right now, coming off of 2 millionaire maker weeks in week 6 and week 7. Now the Bengals have to kind of alter the way that they do things. So taking a look at the targets that they have doled out so far this year, Ja'Marr Chase vacates 29.5% of the target market share, as well as 34% of their red zone targets. That is quite a big matzo ball to get vacated. T. Higgins is greatly expected to step into like a 25 to 30% market share here. I think that we're going to see Tyler Boyd jump up to like 20 plus. I think that HAYDEN HURST is going to jump up to around 20% as well. These 3 guys are going to eat the most. And then it's going to come down to who sees a little bit extra. We're going to talk about that as we go on in the video a little bit later. So taking a look at what they have, obviously, we're going to just focus on captains to start. Cleveland has been one of the 2 teams that we have focused streaming running backs against all season long, Houston being the other one that we're just attacking ruthlessly every single week, week in and week out. Cleveland just as bad. Even though this game is in Cleveland, the Bengals are favored, even without Ja'Marr Chase in this spot. Still 3-point favorites in this one. I'm interested to see what the Bengals do, and there's nobody that's going to be able to tell you exactly what they're going to do unless they're a beat writer who's in the building and is privy to what they're doing walking through. There's no other fantasy analyst that's going to tell you, oh yeah, they're going to move away from the shotgun approach that they've used for the last 3 weeks and go more under center with Joe Burrow, or they're going to stay in shotgun right now. What we do know is Joe Mixon has been way more efficient since week 5 running out of the shotgun this year, with over 5.5 yards per carry in plays that originate from the shotgun. He has seen solid targets in every single game, with a minimum of 3, 2 of the last 3 weeks being that, as they've gone more to a shotgun approach. He's been more efficient on the ground. He should score more touchdowns, assuming that his volume stays about the same, and this is a prime spot for him. I believe that he's going to be an extremely popular captain on Monday night, and I can't tell you to stay away from him. The other side of that, his compatriot on Cleveland, is Nick Chubb. Now, they have an offensive line, defensive line mismatch in this game as well. So, like, Nick Chubb is, look, what we want as fantasy players, right? We're a little selfish, right? We want everything that we want, and not necessarily that doesn't always align with what the coaches want. Like, we always assume rational coaching, but it doesn't work out that way, unfortunately. We want Nick Chubb to play 80+% of the snaps. We want him to get 4 targets plus per game. We want him to get 25 opportunities every single week, but that's not going to happen as long as Kareem Hunt is there. Now, they've said that they're open to trading Kareem Hunt. We'll see if that actually materializes before the trading deadline. But for right now, Nick Chubb leading the league in rushing coming into week 8, and he's been one of the more efficient rushers since he came into the league. Just a hyper talented running back. That is what he is. And Cleveland does everything that they can to establish the hell of it. They kind of have to with JACOBY BRISSETT. He has not done he hasn't done bad. I'm not going to say that he's done poorly, but like, he's just not a difference maker QB. You need him to just be a manager of things. They don't have all that much talent on the outside. Amari Cooper is great, but like DPJ hasn't done a whole lot this year. They lose their tight end Njoku this week. He's out and injured. So another reliable target getter. So they're going to lean, in my opinion, or try to way more heavily on the run game. If they get behind by double-digit points, it's going to be tough to see them have to abandon the run in this spot. So Nick Chubb, so long as they play from ahead, high ceiling, really low floor candidate. That might hold his captain ownership down in total. He's still going to have a chunk with him because it is single game showdown. I think that more people are going to play MIXON. I think more people are going to play Higgins, who is the next person that I wanted to talk about. So I do think that while he won't be the most popular captain, I think that he is an extremely viable one. T. Higgins is walking into a massive market share of targets in this spot. He is already doing very well. 7+ targets. I mean, Baltimore, that game doesn't count. He didn't play in that one, but 7+ targets in every week except week 2 that he has started and finished. And now he's got no Jamar Chase. It is believed that T. Higgins is an other alpha, right? He's not the alpha on this team because Jamar Chase just exists. But most people believe that, you know, around the league, people that I listen to believe that he can be that sort of alpha receiver against other teams' top cornerbacks. And we're going to find out now in the absence of Jamar Chase. Now, the volume is going to keep his production up. However, he won't be running against single coverage anymore. There's going to be a safety over the top of it at all times. And Tyler Boyd will be running from the slot, but that volume increase is going to do an awful lot to bump up his value. He's only at 12K in this one at captain. So he's not like ridiculously exorbitant, but like at only 9.6, you have Tyler Boyd coming off of a monster game. Runs most of his routes out of the slot. I assume that that is still going to be the way that they deploy him. He has no AP photo. There it comes. There we go. Thank you. Averaging 14.5 per game. But as we said, I'm fully expecting his target market share to balloon in this one just because of what has to happen. The ball has to get thrown to somebody, which means that Joe Burrow is still going to throw the ball about where he throws it. I'm not expecting them to turn into the Chicago Bears. I'm not expecting them to turn into a team that runs it 45 times a game and throws it 20 to 25 times a game. These Bengals are still built on the arm of Joe Burrow. He's still going to drop back and throw it 35 to 40 times, even in games that they play from ahead. For them to get to that lead, they know that they have to throw it with their young gunslinger, and they're going to keep dropping him back and taking those chances with him. If I have Boyd, if I have Higgins as my captain, I'm going to tie Burrow to him. If I'm playing Burrow at captain, if I can get him to go into the captain spot, I'm going to make sure that I build a group that's going to have basically all of their pass catches. I'm not going to include Joe Mixon in that Joe Burrow group, and I'm not going to exclude him from being in lineups that have Joe Burrow at captain, but I'm going to build that passing game group around everybody that catches the ball. I do not think that Hayden Hurst is somebody that I want to play at captain. He's on the borderline though. Like if you want to get really frisky and play somebody that's going to have a very low percentage in the captain spot, the problem with him is the ceiling is very low. For him to hit a big time ceiling, he has to catch multiple touchdowns. It's going to be very hard for Hayden Hurst to pay off on volume alone at the captain spot with a single touchdown. While he has seen games where he's gotten 8 targets, 7 targets, 7 targets, 8 targets, the possibility of a 2-target game is always there for him, though he may see an extended or an expanded usage without Jamar Chase there. In my opinion, it's more likely that somebody like Mike Thomas plays more snaps on the outside, as we can see in the game that Higgins started but did not continue and missed against Baltimore. Mike Thomas basically played the majority of the snaps and ran routes on a lot of dropbacks, but does not do a great job of earning targets, as he is not a great separator, though he can walk into one if everything kind of breaks out the right way. But I'm not expecting a 6-7 target game for Mike Thomas. He'll be in that Burrow group, as will McPherson, because the kicker is a positive correlation, as well as a bring back group utilizing everybody on the Browns at a skill position, not defense and not kicker. The other captain that I believe is very viable is Amari Cooper on Cleveland. We've seen him have, look, I hate this narrative. I really do. I hate the home road narrative. It's like the laziest analysis ever, but like, here we are. 3 games on the road, 14 targets, 5.7 fantasy points per game on DraftKings. 4 home games, 45 targets, 22.3. Cleveland's at home. So therefore, for the people who really like the home road splits, this is a spot for Amari Cooper at the captain spot. I think he's viable either way, whether they play at home or on the road. Like, all of his touchdowns, it's just a weird anomaly, right? This is not the same. So maybe he just hates sleeping in hotel beds. I don't know how to explain this. It's completely odd. I don't put much stock in it. I put stock in the player talent, their market share, and everything else. He should see a bump in his target share as well. Taking a look at the Browns, Amari Cooper seeing 28.8%, Donovan Peoples-Jones with just under 20, David Njoku soaking up 19% of the targets, which is a really high amount for a tight end. Now, Harrison Bryant should step into that work. We'll see if he can do pretty well in this spot. Kareem Hunt with 20 targets. We need to see Nick Chubb get more targets. He can catch the ball. They just don't throw it to him. So, like, coming back to here, Amari Cooper, the final guy, but I don't think Amari Cooper, based on the total in this game of 45, he requires you. I would probably increase in lineups with Amari Cooper. I would increase my Jacoby Brissett captain usage, but I'm not going to go nuts with it, because the chance for him to have a game that you must have him, even in a shootout, is somewhat unlikely. All of those really big games for Amari Cooper that we've seen him have, 20 points, 14.4, 26, 28, have all come in games where Jacoby Brissett has been extremely pedestrian, because this game or this team is not built on Jacoby Brissett's arm. That could change when Deshaun Watson comes back. Obviously a way more talented passer, but ceiling games just aren't really the thing for Jacoby Brissett. So even if Cooper is viable at captain, gets 12 targets, catches a touchdown, 100 yards, 8 catches, all of it, doesn't mean that Jacoby Brissett's going to be completely necessary, even if they lose and they have to throw a lot. So I'm going to encourage the lineup builder to utilize the same sort of lineup building with Brissett as I am with Amari Cooper at captain, but I'm not going to force it. I'll just make it increase the possibility that Brissett's going to be in the lineup in those spots, but probably won't have 100% exposure with my Amari Cooper at captain lineup. So, like, sometimes you're going to break the rules based on situations, and that's a rule that I'm going to be willing to break this week. I'm probably also not going to be building any Jacoby Brissett at captain lineups. And if Jacoby Brissett, that's me. You do whatever you want. If you're like, hey, can I play Jacoby Brissett at captain? You most certainly can. You don't need my permission to do anything. That's not how any of this works. I just kind of give you a transparent screenshot or snapshot into the way that I go about doing things. And if you want to do it different, by all means, feel free. Take ownership over your lineups. You're the one that clicks submit on them, not me. So if you want to play Jacoby Brissett captain lineups, you can. I don't really believe that he is somebody that I want to have very much captainship of. I'm going to use my extra 5 or 10% that most people might put on Jacoby Brissett at captain. I'm going to utilize that somewhere else personally. I did want to remind you about our No Kid Hungry fundraiser that we're doing at smizzle.tv/charity. We just crossed the $40,000 mark because on the Sunday morning anti-Tinkercast before lock, we had a $987 donation that took us to $30,000, which triggered the next $10,000 match from me. The next match is when the community gets this ticker right down here to $50,000. Every single dollar helps. No Kid Hungry is providing school breakfast and lunches as well as at-home care to food insecure kids across the country. So if you got an extra dollar, if you like the content, if you had a big week this week, you know, I mean, we did have like Pollard on a cover. We did say that Camaro was a cash game must. And we were all over the Tua double stacks. Hopefully you guys had a big week if you did, and could consider donating a little bit of your winnings. 100% of your winnings that you donate to No Kid Hungry are 100% tax deductible. They will send you all of the paperwork for that. Let's get to a couple of dart throws because I know that you guys like those. I already mentioned one of them, and it's going to be Mike Thomas. Filling in and playing look, it's easier to score points on a football field when you're not holding your helmet on the sideline. If you're actually out on the field and running routes, even if you're just getting cardio in, you at least have the opportunity that you may catch one and then wander into the painted area at the end of the field. He's only 1,800 this week. Sorry, he's only 1,200 this week. He's 1,800 in the captain spot. And should see a lot more snaps, should run a lot more routes. The question is, can he earn the targets that he has to earn? Another player that I like this week is Bryant. Mentioned him also, a tight end, playing in the stead, only 4,000. I believe that he's going to be a little more popular than our typical dart throw region. He is a good pass catching tight end and now should see a lot more snaps and routes as the primary tight end in this Cleveland offense. And then the ultimate dart throw is Samaje Perine. You're not going to get a lot of run. Every single point counts. He's extremely expensive, and Kimbo Perine is not going to play an awful lot of snaps, not going to get a lot of touches, and because of the price that he's at, he's not going to carry a lot of people along with him. If he does happen to vulture a touchdown, as he has done already this season on a 12-yard catch back in week 3 against the Jets, you're going to be sitting pretty with the money that you have spent on him in those lineups. I expect he's going to be less than 10% across the board. If MIXON leaves the game for any stretch of time, or if Samaje Perine tends to vulture a touchdown, as we've seen him do in the past, he becomes an extremely viable play, but a very dangerous one with a 0-point floor, a 2-point floor. He does not play a lot of snaps as is, so caution be with you if you're playing Samaje Perine. Make sure that you join our Discord, smizzle.tv/Discord. And if you're a channel member here on the YouTube channel, smizzle.tv/join if you're on an iPhone. But right next to the subscribe button is a big red button that says join. You can click that, costs $5 a month. And when you join the Discord, you can connect your 2 accounts, YouTube and Discord, and become accessible to the VIP channels where all of our Twitch subscribers and all of our YouTube channel members commingle, talk about cash game strategies, GPP strategies for every single sport, NFL, NBA, MLB, if you're still playing during the World Series, golf, all of it. It's the biggest value add that we have on the channel. If you want to pay that $5 a month to become a channel member, you get access to the community Discord, and is well worth it, IMO. If you're going to come over to Fantasy Labs, which is where I build my lineups using the lineup builder that they have over there, we go over this every single week. You can go check out the subs that they have. They have an NFL only sub through our link, smizzle.tv/labs with an uppercase L, or the 8-month sub is your best value, where you get basically all of the sports that they do: NFL, college football, NBA, now that that's in full swing. Golf season is just kicking off once again. NHL also in full throat at this point. So you get projections and the optimizer, as well as premium information, premium articles to help you be a better winning daily fantasy player. Taking a look at the rules that we build: pair your captain quarterback with at least 2 of their pass catchers or kicker, captain quarterback with at least 1 of the skill position players from the opponent, pair your captain wide receiver with exactly 1 quarterback from the same team, captain tight end with the quarterback from the same team, and at most 1 defensive kicker from the same game. I do not allow a kicker at captain or a defensive captain. If you disagree and you want to do that, by all means, feel free. Just not the way that I do it. Then we're going to build that custom rule where at least 1 player is less than, I'm going to say 20% from the running back, wide receiver, and tight end positions. Will generate 150 lineups, and I wish you the best of luck. Just realize that it's not as easy as clicking submit, adding these lineups to DraftKings, and just printing money. It takes a long time to get the allocations and the combinations that you're exactly looking for. So there's going to be a lot of manicuring and a lot of massaging of the lineup builder to get it to spit out exactly what you want it to do. It is a tool just like any other, and you have to give the instructions that you want. So I wish you the best of luck. I'll see you in Discord, and look for another video right there.
He's a legend.